Hey, hey, hey. Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmie from Emmie Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So right now, I'm going to be doing a ClairTarot reading for the collective whole. This energy update, hold on, guys. Let me put my paint palette aside. Okay, so this collective reading is going to help us to better understand some of the things that we're experiencing independently as well as a whole. So with that, so many of us are kind of struggling right now, like really, really struggling with our thoughts, with our feelings. We don't quite know how to move forward. A lot of fear-based decisions, a lot of rushing, a lot of. Okay. So because we haven't slowed ourselves down to really take a good hard look at the root causations of the things in our lives, it's created somewhat of a mess. Okay. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Just because it's a mess, identified as a mess, doesn't mean it's negative. It doesn't mean that you're failing in some way. It just means there's a need to acknowledge the state that we're currently living in. It's messy. Life is messy. That's fine. Life has always been messy. Life has always been something that we try our hardest to make look like it's something that is organized. And y'all, Pinterest is a website, it's not a life. Okay, we are not Pinterest. So for those of us who have been really trying to cultivate the image of a life of perfection, a life of order, yeah, that is coming to a screeching halt right now. It's coming to a screeching halt. And it's definitely something that needs to be addressed. That desire to put on a show for other people. And it's not that I'm trying to call you out and call you fake or anything like that. It's that I'm asking you to take a good hard look at the kind of existence you've created for yourself, and to be honest with yourself when you ask yourself, am I really happy with what I created? I mean, even if it looks like you're happy, are you really happy? Are you simply documenting your life, or are you trying to create an image? Are you trying to create a brand? Because you're more than a company. You're more than a brand. You are an individual, a sovereign soul. And so that's what this reading is really pointing towards. Hold on. Oopsie. All right. That's what our souls, our higher selves, are wanting to discuss with us at this point. Our refusal to see what we've been actively choosing to participate in. Okay, so the title, Life is Messy. Who's cleaning it up? Who's supposed to clean this up for us? Is someone else? Are we supposed to just sit here and feel entitled to someone else fixing everything that we identify as going wrong with this world? Does it help us when we sit and kind of point the fingers? It's like, it's not us, it's someone else. I saw someone make a post regarding their feelings on the state of the world. And someone got defensive in the comments and was like, it's not our fault. Well, did you vote? Did you vote? Whose fault would it be? If we need to do faults, whose fault would it be? If you participate in a system of voting, then you voted for it. You participated in it, right? Right? So instead of getting defensive, what we need to do is recognize, begin questioning, what is it we're actually participating in? What is it? What is it? And it's not to say that voting is wrong, don't participate in voting or keep voting. It's to say it's time for us to begin asking the real questions that need to be asked. Someone, I don't know if it was the same person or not, but someone else kept posting. I don't know why it was all over my feed. I don't even know who this person is, how they became a friend of mine, or any of that. But they kept posting, if you think this is fake, all the sickness going around, then I challenge you to lick a toilet. And I'm like, you're a grown ass mofo. Like, all your hair is white, bruh. All your hair is white. Like, that means you've lived quite a bit of your life at this point. And for you to resort to that type of behavior, I kind of question your sanity. Like, what are you trying to achieve? To like bully people into agreeing with you that we should all exist in fear? And so for that, I ended up having to comment. And I was like, not trying to convince you of anything, but I am trying to encourage you to question, because you're trying to peddle this fear, like we're all going to die. And I'm seeing a lot of footage of hospitals empty. I don't know what it means. I'm not going to go to a hospital and expose myself to anything that may or may not be there. So I'm just saying, maybe we need to begin questioning what it is we're believing blindly. And that's where this card comes in. That's the first step of alchemy. The recognition of something that needs to be transmuted, this recognition of a change needing to occur. And that change will not, that the need for that change will not happen. Our recognition of that need, it won't happen if we just continue to blindly accept everything. Another person arguing about, like, well, are you trying to tell me that the CDC, we should go against what the CDC says? Okay, well, before all of this shit popped off, the CDC had a little flub, because in court, they were basically strong-armed into conceding that they have been making statements that are not substantiated by studies, medical studies. Their repeated statement that vaccines do not cause autism, they had to retract that specifically. Now, I'm not telling you to focus on what causes autism or what doesn't. I'm telling you to focus on the fact that CDC is fully capable of making statements that are not substantiated by medical literature. And this is who we are blindly listening to. I don't give a shit what causes autism. That's not the point. A governing body that we blindly listen to, especially in a time of pandemic insanity, has admitted in a court of law. They have made statements with no hesitation that has no basis in medical fact, proven medical fact. So we have to begin questioning. I'm not telling you guys to have an uprising. I'm telling you guys to question so that you can make an informed decision in regards to what you choose or not choose to participate in. This is the land of, well, it was the land of the free. I don't know what it is at this point. I don't know what it is. This is the land of the fearful, the land of the easily controlled. And that's a damn shame. That's a damn shame. One hell of a shame. I don't know what we're supposed to do, but hopefully these cards will help us to gain better clarity for our personal journey. Right now, I think what we need to focus on, instead of feeling overwhelmed by like, well, how do we fix the world? You are your own world right now. Okay? This is a beautiful time to recognize you are autonomous. You can function within the world and outside of it, removed from it. So fix your current circumstance right now. What is it that you have to do for yourself? What do you have to realize about yourself right now? Okay, so start there. Ubuntu, compassion for others, card number 34. 3 being a solid foundation. 4 being the number of self. 3 plus 4 is 7, being the number of change. Completion, not change. Completion. Divine completion. So with Ubuntu, this is tied to, well, the internet would have us believe that Ubuntu is a cultural practice of certain tribes in Africa. Okay. Ubuntu is when someone messes up in that community, instead of chastising them, shaming them, punishing them, ostracizing them, instead, the whole community comes together and they spend a specific amount of time just gathered around, recalling all of the beautiful things this person has done, has accomplished, the ways in which they've contributed to that society, and really just helping them to remember, you messed up one time. That one time is not a reason to mess up the rest of the time. And this is something we need to begin doing for ourselves. Okay. We have to begin recognizing just because you mess up one time does not mean you have to condemn yourself to mess up for the rest of your life. It doesn't. It doesn't. That's the beautiful thing. And I've often found, and this is something that I've struggled with, many introverts struggle with this. The moment something undesirable occurs, it really affects you. It shatters you down to your core, especially if other people witness it. And when other people witness it, um, just because you're still fixated on that moment that happened 30 minutes ago, an hour ago, a day ago, a week ago, a month ago, does not mean anyone else that witnessed it cares. Okay. They probably already moved on. It's like, oh, so you fell down the stairs. Oh my God, you're so ashamed. You're so embarrassed. Oh my gosh, how are you going to show your face? Yeah, 10, 15 minutes after that, they really don't care. People have short attention spans. And we have to begin recognizing this because this is something I struggled through personally for so long, where if I made a misstep, I would continue to replay that misstep for a very long time, sometimes over a year, several years. And it would be very difficult for me to be around the people who witnessed that misstep because I would relive that shame over and over and over again, failing to allow myself to recognize they're not there anymore. They left that moment as soon as that moment was done. And I keep going back there. I've chained myself there. I've become a prisoner of my own constructs. And that's what we're needing to recognize right now. We've become a prisoner of our constructs for so long that the cage feels like home. That's not home. Our home has no walls. Let that sink in. The truth of our home, our real home, has no walls. It has no limitations. And it's time for us to re-enter that space once again. Okay. So card number 33. Ooh, countdown. Is that it? Yeah, it's a countdown. 34, 33, two separate decks. With that compassion, you take a step back. It's okay for you to take a step back and go back to step number 33. Return back to that state of ascended master. 33 is a number for ascended masters, for teachers. Be your own teacher. That's the thing. We're looking for someone else outside of us to teach us all the things we already know inside of us. We know all these things already. We simply need the life experience that will trigger the process of remembering these things that we as souls already know. We've already experienced these things in other lifetimes, other scenarios. So we already have all the answers that we could possibly need in this life buried away because heaven forbid, that's taboo topic. We don't talk about that. We only talk about the things that we see, that we can feel, things that are tangible. Most of the really, truly important, powerful things in life are not tangible in human terms. It's just not. The love between a mother and a child, that's not really something you do. Can you see it? Can you hear it? Can you feel it with your hands? Can you? Can you taste it? Can you smell it? You can't. You can't. But it's there. It exists. It's something we don't question. So it's time for us to begin blossoming. And part of our blossoming is the realization, allowing ourselves to realize a lot of the things we have been participating in is actually the illusion that prevents us, delays us from that moment of self-realization, self-actualization. We are so much more than we than what we allow ourselves to believe ourselves to be. I'm part of that group. We are so much more than what we allow ourselves to acknowledge. So much more. So much more. Card number 25, release a dark wound, let love live. It's time for you to let that go. Whatever it was, let it go. Let it go. Stop holding on to the things that are rotting you from the inside out. Stop holding on to it. It's not going to help in any way, shape, or form. It's really not. What we need right now is stillness. We need to allow ourselves to sit still and really begin listening. And sometimes when you listen in absolute stillness, you aren't given the answers. Instead, you're given the right questions to ask, because that's actually more powerful than the answers. When you're directed, when you're guided to which questions to ask, you then free yourself to begin developing way more than what you would have gotten if you were just given the answer. A true teacher is not going to teach you in that way. A true teacher is not going to just have you memorize facts, regurgitate things. A true teacher is going to guide you into which direction your questions should probably go, and will give you the freedom, the space to really, really go to town with those questions. That's what it's about. That's what true learning is about. And what are they doing in our schools? If you have kids and you're upset that your kids are missing out in school, are they allowed to ask questions? Because I haven't been in high school for way over 20 years at this point. And I remember being a very inquisitive child. I was very introverted, but I was also very inquisitive. And I would ask questions, real questions. And the teachers would get so frustrated with me. Why? Why would you get frustrated that I'm asking a real question? I got sent to the office one year because I went to a private Catholic high school. I got sent to the office because I asked a theology teacher, and I was completely serious. Why do we have to confess our sins and call the priest father if the priest is nothing more than our brother in Christ? And I got sent to the office for that. Garcia, go to the office. Why? It's a serious question. You're disrupting the class because I'm asking real questions. Like, why do I have to go to the office? Get out the class. And I was like, I'm gonna fucking tell my parents. They pay for your tuition. I'm gonna tell my dad. It'll cuss your ass out. Just you watch. I didn't tell my dad. I was just like, fuck that shit. I don't want to be in trouble at home too. I already got in trouble at school. Okay, it's time for us to listen. We're not necessarily listening for the answers. We're listening for the right questions to ask. Okay, so this is a huge part of the alchemy that's going to take place. This is the priming for the alchemy. First, we have to listen, and then we can transmute. All right. Yeah, they said I was combative. I'm not combative. I'm not disrespectful either. But if you're going to try and treat me like I'm incompetent and I'm not capable of questioning in a respectful way, then you'll see a whole nother side of me. So card number 7, epoch, pausing your journey. So this has to do with the stillness. We can't always be go, go, go and expect to get the things, the information, the experiences, the thoughts that we need to really allow ourselves to blossom, to really allow ourselves to grow. Card number 3, realization. We're heading towards a part of the human evolution where we realize quite a bit. Okay. First off, we realize that we are the key. There is no, metaphoric key that we're looking for. We are the key. Okay. We are the key. We are the key. We are also the lock. All we have to do is walk through. Ain't that some ish? Ain't that some ish? We are the key and the lock. Okay. Card number 37, focus on the light. When you exist in a time surrounded by darkness, you'll legit lose yourself if you focus simply on the dark. However, if you allow yourself to have some sort of point of reference that's rooted in light, and I'm not trying to promote simply existing in light, because that's stupid too. It really is, because you'll become light blind. That's why we've gotten to the point that we're at right now. We've allowed ourselves to convince ourselves that we're somehow superior, that we somehow know everything because we've done the research, we've done this, we've done that. We know it. And so we exist in a love and light society. And that love and light society, that mentality, it's really made us blind to what's actually happening in this world. It's just like staring at the sun for a prolonged period. You become blind. And that's where we're at. We've allowed ourselves to be blinded by the progress that's being made, failing to allow ourselves to acknowledge the atrocities that are going on while we're being preoccupied. That's what's going on. So, yeah, focus on the light, but don't simply make it your goal to exist in there. You have to exist centered between your light and your dark, so you can see the full totality of your auric kingdom. And if you choose not to do that, that's perfectly fine, but you don't get to complain about the state of the world. You don't get to shame other people for having differing opinions. You can sit down, drink your juice, and take a fucking nap. Okay? If you're not going to question what's going on, if you're going to refuse to acknowledge the things that are going on behind the scenes, the things that are difficult to look at, to allow yourself to admit humans are doing this to other humans. Adults are doing this to children. There's things going on. Slavery never ended. It never ended. They just made sure everyone's included in the slavery pool. I'm being serious. That's what human trafficking is. That's what happened to the Africans generations ago. They were human trafficked. Slavery doesn't just belong to one race. It's still been going on to varying degrees. Okay? Every single last one of us has existed in a slave state. If you pay a mortgage, if you pay property tax, if you pay for licensing, certification, any of that, you have been paying to exist. And people think, I'm not a slave. I own my house. Do you pay property tax? So you own the structure. Actually, if you pay a mortgage, the bank owns it. You're renting it. You didn't know that? And the land, that's not yours. And people will be like, well, I bought land. Okay, do you have water rights, mineral rights? No? So you own the surface. Anything underneath that, they can kick you off. Take it. Because that's not yours. See, when we don't know these things, we think that we are really so above and so developed. And no, the illusion's just a lot better. They're a lot better with the game here. That's what it is. And I'm not here to complain. I'm here to just kind of, this is what the condition is. Let's be realistic. Let's be honest with each other. We can continue like this, or we can come together and choose to change it. And that doesn't necessarily mean there needs to be riots and, violence or any of that. It doesn't necessarily mean that. It could lead to that. It definitely could. Is that the goal? No, that's not the goal. By simply recognizing there are questions needing to be asked, there is a need for you to spend some of your time looking at things, not just accepting what you're being told. There's other ways to go about this. Definitely other ways to go about this in a very peaceful manner. We choose the way that this goes down. We all of us, we choose this. We choose this. And what's really important is we allow that moment of illumination. We're existing in a very, very foggy state. And we have been for quite some time. We've been existing in a very foggy state for quite some time. And it's no more fault of one person than it is another. We've all allowed it. Every single last one of us have allowed and participated and done whatever we've done. So we're all connected. Everything is connected. This is not just one government. This is not just one nation. This is happening across the world. Okay? It would be riots would. Why would it be dangerous at this time? Curious to hear your thoughts. Why would it be dangerous at this time? Because so many are now supporting the Second Amendment. What is dangerous about it at this time? And it's moments like this why the Second Amendment needs to always, always, always exist. Always. And it's okay if you don't want to own, if you don't want to carry. Perfectly okay. Perfectly, I completely respect that. I spent a portion of my life being absolutely no way in hell are we going to have a firearm in the house. That changed years ago. Yeah, no, that changed years ago. So I support it. Absolutely. Legally obtained, legally carried firearms, 100% support it. No way in hell you're going to disarm me under the ruse of if no one was armed, we'd be safer. Fuck no. Fuck no. I'm not waiting the 15 minutes that it would take police to arrive to protect my family. You enter my home, I will defend my family. Whatever force is necessary. That's not what I want. But if you force me, I will defend my family until law enforcement arrives. Whatever force is necessary. You will not harm my children. You will not touch my husband. We Bonnie and Clyde up in this bitch. Okay? Time for us to detox. Cleanse and restore yourself. We've given too much of our power away. Too much of our power away. We've become a lazy fucking people. Lazy. We don't want to take accountability for anything. So if we let someone else decide for us, we don't have to take accountability. Oh, well, because you voted for the wrong person. Oh, because of that Democrat. Oh, that Republican. It's the president. No, it's this country. It's that country. Oh, it's Chinese because they were like, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. Okay. No, 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 no. No. We are all held accountable for everything that's going on right now. But I didn't even know. I don't give a shit. Every single last one of us is held accountable. I don't care what nation you're from. I don't care what what political party you're part of, what your personal beliefs are. If you exist here right now, you are a part of what's going on. We all co-created this together. We all have to detox. All of us have to detox. Again, this is not a call for us to be in the streets with firearms. Absolutely not. This is a time for us to sit quietly and really, really think about how we each got to where we are right now in our life. Begin with yourself. Begin with where your life took a turn in such a way that you didn't anticipate the events that came after that, the events that blindsided you, the events that caused you to become a version of yourself that you're not too proud of, you're not too happy to be. Begin there. Begin there. And if there comes a time where we have to come together and rise up together, we will know. Right now is not that time. It's not that time, and we don't need to program ourselves to wait for that time, because when enough of us do that, we pull in that time. We bring that time to fruition, and we don't want that. We don't. We really don't want that. I would like for all of this, the insanity, to kind of be done in a couple of weeks. You know, I want to have my workshop. I want to go on with life. 86% at 11:11. 8 being the number of unification, 6 being the number of receiving, 11:11 being the number of divinity, recognizing that we're about to take these steps forward on an adventure. And in a few seconds, somewhere in this world, it's going to be 12:12. It's going to be 87% 12:12. 8 being the number, again, of reunification, 7 being the number of completion, 1212 being the start of the journey. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. This is a beautiful time to be alive. How much power do each of us have to be able to say, I participated in a time of our human evolution where we took the wheel and we turned it back. We turned it back. They were trying to run us off the cliff and we're like, fuck that, turned it back. That's fucking power right there. And it's not just one person that's going to do it. 88% at 1212. Elevated reunification. That's what it is right there. Card number 11. Divinity is speaking to you right now. Divinity is speaking to you right now. Fear. What's the fear doing? Okay, we're not supposed to pretend we're not afraid. That's another illusion. This belief that if there's fear, you're feeding the machine, and no, fear exists for a reason. It exists for a reason. You telling me God made a mistake when God allowed fear to exist? No. Everything exists for a reason. If it has no purpose, it doesn't exist. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. If it has no purpose, it's not allowed to continue to exist because creation is very efficient. It does not like the existence of voids. So it will continuously attempt to feed, fill, neutralize voids. So that's what's happened right now. We've created a void within our consciousness, okay? Because we have chosen to continuously pretend that we are not awake. Every single last one of us. And you know what? If this doesn't resonate, that's perfectly fine. But this is what I know to be truth. Every single last one of us is an enlightened individual. We are simply in varying degrees of amnesia. And just because you forget who you are does not make you a different person. Okay? Just because the things you've experienced in life, the amounts of fear that's been accumulated, the types of blockages that have resulted from that fear, it doesn't remove the fact that you've already been enlightened. You came here for a human experience. So really, the goal for this life is not to become enlightened. It's to experience something in its totality, to be fully present as you experience these things. I guarantee the people who were present during the world wars, they wouldn't accept this. They wouldn't accept what's going on. I'm pretty sure they would have been forming all kind of groups and meetings and stuff to discuss how we are not going back there. We are not going back there. We're not. And they keep dangling this like, ooh, World War III, World War III. Okay, the world's been at war forever. The world has been at war forever. What difference does it make if they make it official? What difference does it make? The world's been at war forever. I don't know a time of peace. I used to be a really big history buff. I've forgotten most of the things that I've learned and read, but I don't ever remember a moment of peace. I mean, if you guys can remember a moment of peace where the entire world was at peace, there was no conflict anywhere, please do share it with me. I would love that little nugget of hope. But I don't remember ever coming across information where the world as a whole was at peace. So what's the difference? You're so afraid of something that's been going on. It's just been labeled something else, right? Just like human trafficking and slavery. Same thing. The same thing. Oh no, but they abolished slavery. No, they didn't. They didn't. I'm sorry if that blew your bubble. They didn't. Oh, we freed ourselves from the queen. No, we didn't. We still pay war reparations. Look it up. gleaned right off the top. Look it up. We still pay. Till now. We're not a free nation. Look it up. This is information it's online. I mean, you're stuck at home. Look this shit up. I'm not going to give you all the information because first off, I want you to look for it yourself and not just take whatever I say as the word of God. And second off, I don't remember half the shit anymore. I spent so many years of my life being so heavily steeped in conspiracy theory that always panned out to be like conspiracy fact. And then it really made me apathetic and I didn't want to be a part of humanity. And I was just like, fuck this. I don't want to be a part of this. Like everybody should just let the world just collapse. I don't really care. This place sucks. And then I realized that's not what I'm here for. I'm not here for that. I'm here to exist outside of that and encourage other people to join me outside of that box. So look for these things yourself. If it strikes a chord within you, look it up. If you just feel the need to prove me wrong, look it up. Go ahead and prove me wrong. I don't need to be right. I really don't. Card number 22, she feels, she knows. You guys feel what's going on. You guys can feel it. You know, this is not, I'm not talking about, oh, okay, there's going to be 3 days of darkness. And then there's, you know, like, I don't care. I really don't care. Okay, I'm going to go grocery shopping today. We're out of groceries, so I'm going to go grocery shopping. And then I'm going to sit at home with my kids. I have full knowing and trust. Whatever it is that I experience, it's something myself and my children came into this life to experience together. Okay, that's it. That's it. And it's not me putting my head in the sand. It's me realizing I need to be fully present in this moment. I will really fuck myself up if I keep thinking about all the potentialities that keep being flashed in front of my face. Potentiality after potentiality after. You know what? None of that shit is locked in. None of it is locked in. So people can say whatever they want about, well, I have an accuracy rate of blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I'm a precog and I'm a psycho. Okay, well, that's lovely. That's lovely. But understand, you're shown things for one of 2 reasons: to prepare for it or to avoid it. Once you recognize that, the trajectory of everything that you're shown shifts. It changes. It becomes something else. It becomes something else. So if you're going to live your life in that way where you're trying to predict everything, you're going to have a really shitty experience here. Really shitty experience. You're going to drive yourself crazy. You're going to be stressed out all the time. You're going to make yourself very, very sick, and you're going to alienate everyone in your life. Because you're going to feel crazy. You're going to need to prove to other people how right you are. And after a while, people just don't want to hear it. Whether you're right or not, they don't want to hear it. They don't. And you're going to have to be okay with that. So this is the mess that we're in, and it's okay. It's okay. Because from chaos comes order. Cosmos is chaos. Birth is messy. And that's what we're in right now. We're in a birthing phase. We are rebirthing humanity as we know it to be. We are rebirthing. Okay? So we need to take risks. What do I mean by risks? Take that leap of faith. That's a risk, right? You're jumping off that cliff. That's a risk, major risk. But guess what? You have those etheric wings to fly. And I promise you this. I promise you this. You allow yourself to align with your soul, not with anyone else, with your soul. You allow yourself to align with your soul when you jump. If you're too scared to fly still, your soul will catch you and lift you up anyways. No loss, no actual risk, just the perception of it. Just the perception because of the fear. So let's pull a couple more cards and get a couple more messages, and then we can call it a day. I want to take all this makeup off. I'm sorry, guys. I forced you to watch me put on makeup in my other video, and now I'm rushing to take it off. I don't like makeup on my face. If people don't want to hear it, then why the YouTube channel? Are you talking to me? You talking to me? If I were you, I would really sit for a moment and interpret the tone that I'm using. 94% at 11:22. You talking to me? Just because I got lashes on don't mean I'm some fucking pushover. Get that shit straight. Just because I talk of peace doesn't mean I don't know how to do war. Get that shit straight. Reconcile your own differences within yourself. Stop trying to project it on me. I don't want a YouTube channel, motherfucker. My soul forced me to have a YouTube channel. That's why I have a YouTube channel. Because I've known about a lot of shit that I've kept to myself. But apparently now humanity is ready to hear unadulterated truth coming out of my mouth, because I am not going to sugarcoat shit. I'm not going to sugarcoat shit. Let me tell you, I'm not going to feel afraid either. What are you? A social engineer? Huh? You trying to engineer a circumstance so that what? So I look crazy? I'm already crazy. I'm already kind of crazy. The things that I believe and know to be truth are crazy. My simple existence is fucking crazy because science cannot quantify what I can do, what's documented by what I do. So just because you lack the ability to comprehend what the hell's happening here, it doesn't diminish what's actually happening. It really doesn't. And I'm addressing this in this manner because those of you who are watching, you need to witness someone who does not need to prove themselves. Because I know for myself, what I'm speaking of is my truth. And if that truth can be shared with you and you accept it, beautiful. If not, beautiful too, because as a sovereign, I have no right nor desire to try and force your agreement. And that's how the world needs to begin to exist, in that state where we can come together and speak and share and not have to defend yourself, not be accused in some way, some kind of insinuation. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. That's just not how it works. And maybe I misunderstood what you said, but the fact is, that's how I interpreted it. And this is how I'm choosing to respond. And that is because someone out there needs to see this exchange occur, where you can stand your ground with no fear and speak your mind and still be eloquent, still be articulate, and still be a fucking testament to an evolved soul. And it's not because I'm better than anyone. It's because I've lost my fear. That's the only difference between me and you. I've lost my fucking fear. And it's not because I never feel fear. It's because I recognize courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is you pushing forward in spite of that fear, recognizing, knowing, trusting, existing in a state of gnosis where you allow your hope and your faith to ripen into a knowing that you will be provided for, provided with every circumstance that you need to grow into the human being you promise to become. Because there are people waiting for you to wake the fuck up. The world will not save itself. No one is coming here to save you. You are your own Messiah. If you really need to participate in that paradigm, in that dogma, you are your own Messiah. You are your own guru. And you do not allow anyone to shame you into a corner. Because when you get backed into a corner, you have no choice but to fight. I am peaceful. I will never allow you to back me into a corner because I will always honor my need to have a peaceful resolution if I so choose. And when you're backed in a corner, you don't have the choice. And this is why when you need to stand up, you stand up. When you need to speak up, you speak up. Don't be scared of what people will say, how they'll take you. Because that's based on their own perceptions, their own limitations. Has nothing to do with you. Nothing. And this is a conversation obviously needed to take place. Obviously, it needed to take place. And I'm gonna be really honest. I don't even know who commented. Man, I'm not mad at you. You know what I mean? It's not like a personal response to you. I've been triggered since this morning seeing all of these exchanges online, and really most of the comments I don't see. Most of the I'm supposed to wear glasses. So most of the comments I don't see. But for whatever reason, Michael pointed out your comment. And usually when he does these things, it's because a conversation needs to take place that I normally would be like, I shouldn't say that. People are going to get upset. I'm not going to say that. I don't want controversy. I don't want none of that. But then he points things out. He knows, boom, I'm triggered. I can't shut myself up because I'm done with being afraid. And I can't shut myself up. And it used to eat me up inside and be like, girl, you just fucking embarrassed yourself. Look how stupid you sound. Look, be a lady. Act like a lady. Ladies don't act like that. Just fucking be quiet about it. But no, I recognize when I say things, when I speak out of pocket, that's because people need to be reminded you shouldn't exist in a pocket. You need to become a sovereign. And if I'm really going to do the things that I came into this life to do, which I don't know what the hell that is, then I need to be authentically me. Sometimes I'll speak up, sometimes I won't. But I know every single time, every single circumstance, I'm doing what is perfectly correct for that circumstance. Whether I understand it or not, whether I agree with it or not, this was a perfect exchange. And maybe I should have used different language. Maybe I should have phrased it different way. Maybe I should have made it seem like I got pissed off and I'm trying to tell someone off, because to me, I'm not telling you off. I'm just speaking passionately. And maybe the problem is we're so accustomed to being politically correct that we've lost our ability and willingness to speak with passion, to speak into being the correction, the recalibration that this world needs. And it's a conscious recalibration. And when you exist in a world that's so dense, so heavy, sometimes your words, the message needs to be heavy because the people need to understand, they need to remember. Lift those weights, get strong, rise up. Because if you don't, what's the other option? Cowering at the boots of your oppressor? That's not an option for me. That's not an option for me. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Never. Mm-mm. Nope. Nope. I don't even need to explain that. Just no. No. I will not cower. Never. And maybe it's time for us to really, really enter that state of whatever happens, we don't bow down. We don't necessarily need to fight. But fuck that, we're not bowing down. Never. So, you guys, I think I've burned up all my hormones. I think I've burned up all my hormones. Okay. All right. There you go. Then that was hormones talking along with some spiritual truths booming. Hormones are all burned up. I'm totally calm. We've got the messages that we needed. We've got the messages that we needed. These messages, we all hear the same words, but our soul interprets it in different ways. Okay. And you can take this message and see it in whatever way you need. I don't need you to see it in any other way than how you see it. If you see me as crazy, that's okay. If you see me as speaking truths that you haven't been able to fully articulate for yourself yet, beautiful. It's not my truth, it's our truth. Our truth is rising. I'm just being given the voice, the platform to share what you already are knowing and feeling within yourself. And maybe it's the fear that's keeping you from fully processing yet, but you're getting there. And that's what I need you to focus on. You're getting there. You're making progress. You don't need to be anywhere but where you're at right now. Mentally, emotionally, physically. You're exactly where you need to be, experiencing the things you need to experience. It's not always pretty. We don't always agree with what we're experiencing. We don't always understand. And that's okay. Be fully present. Go through whatever you need to go through. Learn that lesson so it doesn't repeat again. And then look back, because vision is always 20/20 in hindsight. So be fully present in your life. Be fully present in your connections. Just be fully present. Even if you're afraid, even if you're afraid, be fully present. When you can be fully present, even with all that fear, that's fucking courage. That's courage. Don't diminish yourself. Stop trying to convince yourself that you're less than what you actually are. You're here. You signed up for one hell of a ride. That in itself is courage. All of us volunteered to be here at this time. This wasn't no like, oh, I got to go back because karma. We all volunteered to be here at this specific time. Every single last one of us is intertwined. Every last one of us. We are all intertwined. And it's time for us to begin pulling back a little bit so we can see what the big picture is. We're all a part of the tapestry. All right? So you guys, please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Join me every single time I'm live. 99% at 11:33. 99, divinity rising. 11, recognition of that divinity. 33, the ascended master within you is awakening. That's some shit right there. Gotta go, guys. Bye.